Welcome to Easy Eats. My name is Chef Yves Dechaine, and today we have Jayda Veinot from UNB, registered dietitian, and master's students for what programming again?
Applied Health Services Research.
Fantastic. So, student athlete. We're taking the opportunity today to talk about nutrition, to talk about sports at UNB, and to also talk about how we can kind of take food that students typically eat and make it a little bit more nutritious, make it a little bit more appealing, make it better for you. And we'll talk about how students need to eat, or student athletes, need to eat in order to stay competitive in the game.
Perfect. Sounds great.
Perfect. So before we get started, tell us a little bit about yourself. How did you get started, and through your basketball career?
Well, I started playing basketball when I was 3 years old. I kind of came up through a basketball family, so my parents played, my older sister, my twin brother, we all played, and our parents coached us. So I guess we all loved basketball and just stuck with it as long as possible. I was fortunate enough to be able to play in university. I did my undergrad at a different school and then graduated, and I wasn't done, so I came to UNB. I'm now taking this master's program, which I love, and I got to play basketball for a couple more years. So that's kind of my basketball story. Yeah.
Well, not just a little bit about your basketball story. You won awards. You're not just a basketball player. You're an elite basketball player as far as we're concerned, and we're happy here in New Brunswick or here in Fredericton to have had you on the UNB team. And I heard as well that you share a story with your mother. You wear her number as well.
Yeah, I did. My mom played basketball at UNB as well, and when I came, the number was available, so of course I jumped on that, which was really special.
Right on. So a legacy player, and that's always fun.
Yeah, of sorts, I guess.
Of sorts, yeah. So your passion in nutrition, has it always been something that you kind of wanted to throw yourself into, or is it something that, like I always say, some people fall into it, it's a happy accident?
Yeah, I guess I always loved food. I always loved to cook, but when I went to school, I originally just was going to do biology. So I guess once I started, I was like, no, you know what, this isn't for me. I love food. I'm going to roll with that. And so I switched into nutrition and have never looked back. My master's research is also in dietetics as well. So I've been in school for 8 years learning about nutrition and the delivery of nutrition care services. So it's definitely the right choice for me, and I love every day of it.
As a nutritionist and looking into this food, and as an athlete as well, that must have been a big part. Can you share with us what type of diet that university athletes should kind of try to follow? Because I know that there's a lot going on, there's studies, you've got to balance and juggle a whole lot of things, and sometimes nutrition kind of goes to the wayside. So what kind of advice, I guess I should ask, someone who's trying to aspire to juggle things like you were juggling, or that you're still juggling, how do you eat healthy?
Yeah, I mean, so many things go into it, right? Like the time that you have, the access you have to food, kind of like we talked about, like food literacy skills. There's so much that goes into it. But in a perfect world, athletes first and foremost need to be able to eat enough, right?
Yeah.
You can't focus on the specific little pieces of nutrition when you're not hitting that bare minimum of enough energy to be able to like practice every day or go to school and just do your general day-to-day life. From there, we talk about specifically with athletes, carbs. Like carbs have a bad reputation, but you need carbs. They give you fuel to be able to be active. So finding ways to have carbs, but also have different add-ons to make sure that you're getting those minerals, vitamins that you need. And the other big thing for athletes is protein. So we talk a lot about that. When you're done performing or when you're done training, you need a lot of protein to be able to recover and show up the next day and do the exact same thing.
Right on. And when should you or shouldn't you eat? I know that a lot of times big meals and then you're going to practice may be a little bit detrimental. Like, is there specific times, or how should you kind of plan your day out or meals out throughout the day?
Yeah, ideally, I would say like your big meal would be like 3 hours before. You can have some of those carbs leading up to. If you're having a high intensity or long practice, you might need to have some carbs during. And then as soon as you're done, you want to start getting that protein into you. So maybe a snack, and then that big meal again, that would be kind of a balanced meal with carbs, protein, and all sorts of fruits and vegetables. That would be within like 2 hours after finishing.
So protein helps muscles recover
exactly.
and rebuild, right?
And regenerate, yeah.
Nice,
yeah.
Fantastic. I know that you're a very humble person, so you won the female basketball player of the year this year, and that's fantastic. So people that are looking to do or achieve what you've achieved, do you have any little secrets?
I mean, there's a lot that goes into it. Like, nobody can get there by themselves. So, like, I was a part of an incredible basketball community growing up. I had all sorts of positive role models and coaches that supported me. You go to a school, you find a school that's a good fit for you. Your teammates are a huge part of it. There's all these things that go into it, right? Like, your team needs to be successful, and you have to have a good fit that way to be able to kind of make those things happen. So, huge accomplishment, yes, but I guess you have to make sure you love it, and you have to find a fit that works for you to be able to show up every day and work as hard as you can for those things to kind of fall into place. So I guess that would be my advice. Like, make sure you love it, find somewhere that you're happy, and then work as hard as you can.
And like you said, community is a huge part, and something that'll support you and allow you to grow and develop as you would naturally, right?
Exactly, yeah. Like, you can't do it in a team sport alone, right? So you need that community around you.
Right on. So being an athlete in university, are you gearing your nutrition or your dietitian work towards athletes, or is this something that you're kind of working out to the general public or things like that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know where I'll end up, but right now I work with Canadian Sport Institute Atlantic, and I provide kind of nutrition education or like kitchen sessions to provincial team athletes or like the teams in general. So I do love that aspect of sports nutrition because that's a lived experience for me, and I've seen like what can happen to your performance when you take care of that. But I'm interested in health in general, nutrition in general. So I guess we'll see where I end up. But right now I'm settled in sports nutrition.
Very, very cool. So your basketball career is kind of done now. It's wrapping up. How do you stay, or do you still stay in basketball? What kind of things are you doing to kind of still live in that basketball world?
Yeah, I'm very much still in that basketball world. I coach an under-14 team here in Fredericton, a Fusion girls team. I assist with the UNB women's basketball team. So the team I played on last year, they let me stick around and help out. And I work with Basketball New Brunswick with their provincial team programs as well. So lots of coaching going on, lots of different athletes to hopefully be able to help on their development journey.
Right on. Any really cool stories that you can share with us? Have you seen any good prospects? Have we seen the next Jayda Veinot?
You know what? There's lots of skills in our community and in our province. So there's a lot of possibilities, I guess.
Okay.
Like there's going to be some good basketball players coming out of our province, I think. Yeah.
Right on. And how is the program here in our province? Is it a good program? Is it how does it match up, I guess, on the national level comparative to other provinces?
Yeah, well, being in the youth stuff is new to me. So the past 2 years I was just in university, right? But with our provincial team programs and even with our club programs, I think it's dependent year to year. New Brunswick is often competitive when we get to like those national tournaments and things, but we're also a smaller province, so that comes with some of those struggles as well, maybe not having quite as much height being one of those things, but they do well and they work hard, I would say.
Perfect. So we'll be back after these few messages to jazz up some of these ramen noodles. Welcome back to Easy Eats. Again, we're in the Greener Villages Learning Kitchen with Jayda Veinot, master student and registered dietitian. We are going to show you guys how to kind of just take a university or a college student's staple, the old Mr. Noodle, the ramen noodle, and kind of put a little bit more nutritional value to it, kind of change it up, because I mean, you can eat these and you really can't survive on just these, even though a lot of them do try. But today we're going to show you how to just kind of elevate it a little bit with stuff that you'll find in your dorm room fridge or kind of scraps that you can pick up at the cafeteria by just putting it on your tray and then bringing it home and just kind of elevating everything. So it's really, really simple. All we're going to do is grab these ramen noodles. We'll open up the packages right like that. And the first thing that I do is I get rid of these packages. They're just full of sodium, they're full of chemicals. We really don't know what's in it other than whatever you see right here. So I put these off to the side. There we go. So we'll open these two packages right like that, and we'll just put them off to the side.
Okay.
And this is going to be the hardest part, is opening these packages right here.
That's reassuring if that's the hardest part.
Yeah. There we go. So these packages, just like that, put that off to the side. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to start off with a little bit of garlic. So a couple cloves of garlic, right like this. We're just going to chop it up like that. 1 or 2 cloves. And what I do want to mention is it's basically, today I'm just showing you the basic of whatever I have in the fridge, and that's exactly what these are for. So if you've got scraps of whatever, it works out great. But what should you be looking for as a student athlete, and I'm sure that you guys ate a lot of ramen as well.
I've eaten my fair share.
Yeah. What would you put in your ramen, or have you ever jazzed up your ramen like this?
Yeah, I am actually still to this day will make use a Mr. Noodle packet, and instead of using some of these ingredients you have for the sauce, I'll put in a cream and mushroom soup because that's a staple that's always in my cupboard.
Okay, cool.
And then jazz it up with some toppings as well. Yeah.
Right on. All right, so then we're going to put in a little bit of ginger, and
Okay.
to peel ginger, I just use a spoon.
Okay.
And it's really easy. All you do is just scratch the part that you need,
Yeah.
just like that, and it comes off so much easier than a peeler.
Yeah. Look at that.
Just like that.
And do you think if a student didn't have this, like ginger and garlic in this sort of form, that they could use powders if that's something that's in their cupboard?
Absolutely. If you've got it. I mean, today, like I said, I'm just using what I have in my fridge, and I've got a pretty big fridge here at the Greener Village that the community donates stuff to, and we're lucky that we have this. But again, yeah, a starving student, you hit the dollar store, you use what you have, whatever you can get, the little packets that you can grab from the cafeteria, things like that work out great. So what we're going to do now is we've got our garlic, we've got our ginger, and all we're going to do now is we're just going to pop that in just like that.
Our oil.
And then we're just going to stir it up. We don't want to burn it, we just want to bring it up until it's fragrant.
Okay.
So now it's starting to smell really, really nice. I'm just going to grab my mushrooms and toss those in, and they're fairly big, so I'm just going to, you can chop them up or you can break them up with your spoon just like this, and we're just going to saute those up a little bit like that, and just kind of create a broth. So as soon as these have wilted, which are kind of nice, all I'm going to do now is just add 4 cups of vegetable broth. So I'm using vegetable broth because that's what I have, but again, you can use chicken broth, you can use beef broth, you can buy those packs at the grocery store that work out great, and when they go on sale, they're like 99 cents, and they've got a great shelf life, and they don't have to be refrigerated, so that's something that a student should kind of look at buying, and you can do all kinds of stuff with them.
Yeah. That's a great idea.
Perfect. So we're going to let that boil a little bit. And while that is boiling and we have to bring it up to a boil, we'll get a few other things ready. So we're going to garnish our soup with different vegetables. So today I've got some bean sprouts. We've got some peas. I've got a little bit of hot sauce that I made in-house. So that's you can or cannot use, or as much as you want.
Yeah.
I've got some spinach here. So let's talk about what we put in here. So if we're going to put vegetables, which ones should we be leaning to?
Well, I would just say you want a diet with variety, right? So there wouldn't be like a specific vegetable that you need to put in this. I would just say you use what you have. You want to find some different colors. So maybe if you have some greens here, maybe you might want to add shredded carrot or something to get a different color, because as a general rule of thumb, when they're different colors, you're getting different vitamins from them. So that could be something you're aiming for, but really they've all got great stuff packed into them. So whatever you have works.
Perfect. And you also eat with your eyes too, so
Yes.
the more vibrant it is, the easier you'll eat it.
Yeah, and you want to make something that you'll like too, right? So there's no point putting something in that you're not going to enjoy. So use what you have, use what you like, so that you'll actually eat it.
Perfect. So last week we had Dr. Jennifer Russell on, and we talked about eating with mindfulness. So as a student, I know that it's hard. You're studying and you're eating. So is there any advice that you can give, like on your end? When you ate, did you sit and eat and then study, or was it that whole thing with the book open and just kind of?
I've definitely been guilty of that.
Yeah.
As I've gotten to be an older student, I've tried to carve out some time to actually sit and just focus on eating. So even if I'm busy right up until the point of plating my food, when I go to the table and eat my food, I try and be there without screens, without work, maybe just having conversation with a friend or something, and try to enjoy my food that way.
Do you find that it helps you by doing that? Does it help ease the mind and kind of put a new perspective, or give you revitalized energy to kind of continue and do more?
I think it helps you with actually being aware of your hunger cues, for one thing. And then also I would say that it just takes away some of that stress. Sometimes you're feeling stressed or anxious, and that can make your stomach upset in some ways. So finding time to just carve out to just eat and be present with that can be great in that sense.
So our pot is boiling here, simmering nicely. So what we're going to do now is we're just going to add in our ramen noodles. Now, I'm making this for both of us, so we've got
Perfect.
2 packets. Or you can make this ahead of time and kind of re-warm it up and use it any which way. So we'll just get those going just like that, and we'll kind of let that boil. And like I said, in the meantime, I've got some green onions that we've cut for garnish. We're going to pop a couple eggs in there, and we're going to put in some ham as protein, but you can use whatever you have. Regular chicken, you don't even have to put any protein. You can stay vegan or vegetarian if you want as well. But if we are going to do that protein boost that you're looking for, what kind of things do you think you can put in that ramen other than, say, eggs and meat to kind of jazz it up?
Yeah, I mean, you could go with anything. Like sometimes as students, an easier or a cheaper option would be like a ground beef or chicken or pork. I'd probably like prepare those on the side and then add them in, but those could be good options. And you can always, like you said, keep this vegetarian or vegan, and then if you have a protein source you like outside that maybe doesn't fit with this, eat that with it, right? Like you could, if you don't want to put your egg or ham in it, you could eat that on the side with a dip or something. Just finding creative ways to actually eat it with your meal, right? Even if it's not a part of this piece of the meal.
No, absolutely. The reason I'm showing you today is because I found, as a college student when I was going to culinary school, which I mean is an unfair advantage because we kind of ate all day. But I mean, again, we were still starving students because once we left class, I mean, we had to fend for ourselves. And we found that, and this is where this kind of came in for me, is we started jazzing up what we had because we were allowed to take a few scraps. So we would bring stuff home, and this is how we kind of developed these types of things. So yeah, it's kind of easy, nutritious, and again, whatever you have in your cupboard, whatever you can get your hands on, would work out great. And it's a great way to work your meal prep. And I think there's the idea, is that instead of having this stuff over rice, or instead of having it over noodles, you can kind of make a soup and kind of develop it from there.
Absolutely.
All right, so our noodles seem to be done right now. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to add our protein. So I've got this ham that we cooked up yesterday for one of the classes that I had, and we had a little bit of extra.
Leftovers,
so
love that.
Leftovers, and exactly, we're going to pop those in just like that. I've got some spinach, which is great, and we're just going to put that in whole baby spinach and let that wilt down like this. So already that noodle dish is starting to take shape.
Yeah, come together.
And kind of look like something that you would get at a restaurant or the like. And then I love snap peas. They really are good. Whenever I get a chance, whenever they're on sale, I pick them up. We had a beautiful bunch donated yesterday, actually, from one of the grocery stores.
Amazing.
So when I saw that, I said, perfect, they'll fit well for the show today.
Yeah.
So we've got that there, and we're going to have it simmering like that. And then we're going to add a little bit more protein, and it's kind of that quintessential, and I think that ramen has kind of been a movement now. There's some really cool spots in town to get ramen.
There are.
So everyone likes their eggs a different way. So I like mine just kind of poached in there. You can boil your eggs ahead of time and just kind of do it the other way. Or you can do like a stracciatella, or an egg drop, where you kind of stir and then drop the whole egg in and it kind of becomes the noodle. But we've got noodles in there already.
We do.
So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pop, the egg.
Amazing. I never thought of doing it this way.
Well,
I'm a boil in advance kind of girl,
are
but
ya?
look at this, one less pot.
One less pot, and that's it for university students. When you're in the dorm room and all you have is a hot plate, a bar fridge, and a kettle, this is kind of the way. And you don't want to stir that, so you just kind of let that sit and simmer, just like that. So we're just going to let these eggs finish up, and we'll be back after this short break. Welcome back to Easy Eats. Again, we have Jayda Veinot, former basketball player and master student down at UNB. We're just finishing up this ramen. It looks great. The egg isn't as pretty as I want it to be, but that's okay. It still eats the same. And exactly. So we're just going to plate it up, and plating it up is really, really simple. So we grab the big ramen bowl that we have right here. We're sharing this, so it's a 2-bowl thing. So we've got a few chopsticks, but I mean, it's really simple to plate. All you want to do is just kind of pour it in, just like that.
Perfect.
And then you find your eggs right there. So we've got 2 lovely eggs here and here that are still mediumly poached, which are fantastic. But before we dig in, we're going to let that cool off a little bit because it's really, really hot. And then I'm going to garnish it here with a few red onions, some bean sprouts, which are a great source of protein, aren't they? And a little bit of hot sauce. Do you like it hot?
Somewhere in the middle, I'd say.
All right, so just 1 good teaspoon.
Yeah, perfect.
Just perfect, just like that. So before we dig in, let's talk about this. We took a convenience food and we've kind of heightened it up. Are there any other hacks that you can kind of share with us?
I think that convenience foods are an incredible thing for students. People leave home, go to university, they don't necessarily have a lot of kitchen skills, right? So using things like a ramen pack or other dried pastas or like a salad kit, things like that, and adding things to it to maybe make it more nutritious is a great hack for university students as they're kind of learning those kitchen skills to take some of the confusion out of cooking, right? And if using a salad kit is a way for you to not go out and eat and spend more money, then that's an incredible thing to use. So I would definitely say that's my biggest hack for university students.
Right on. Well, speaking of university students and learning how to eat properly and stuff like that, your program has classes, or you guys offer types of classes in the UMB kitchen. Let's learn more about that.
Yeah, sure. It's through sports, so we have the UMB teams. They can access the kitchen. I go in with them, and sometimes we do nutrition education, but we also do kitchen demos. So you might make high protein snacks that are great for after a workout, or you might do some meal prep or like planning that way. So the athletes can actually get hands-on experience, make some recipes, take some of that confusion away, right? So we do that through UMB. We also do it with the provincial team organizations throughout the province as well. They come in and we really try and use the kitchen as much as possible that way.
Right on. So is it just for athletes, or can any student sign up for this type of program?
Right now it's just for athletes, but I'd love to see it grow in that sense because, I mean, it's skills that everyone needs to have in life, right? So
absolutely,
it'd be incredible to see it grow.
Right on. So, yeah, I think this has cooled off enough.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Jayda, for coming on, talking about yourself. And it's always nice to have people coming in that are passionate about what they do.
Yeah.
Having someone who is an athlete showing people how to be successful, and as successful as you are, and you're showing us these small tips on how to achieve or to push yourself towards it. And like you said, by eating simple, and like you said, convenience food, if we kind of heighten it up, or watch what you eat, I guess is what it is for students, right? Be conscious of what you're putting into your body, and what you're putting into your body will help your mind. And that's just, I guess, a key to success, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, right on. Without further ado, I'll give you the spoon. Dip in if you want some noodles. I do have a few chopsticks here if you want, but let's give it a try.
Okay.
Get a little hot sauce mixed in there.
Oh yeah.
There we go.
Perfect. Let's do it.
And it's so much nicer. So much nicer than
Oh, that's good
just
hot
this
sauce.
sibling. Well, thank you so much.
That's wonderful. That's great. Yeah.
Awesome. So thank you so much for joining me today.
It was wonderful to be here.
And hope you great success in your studies and whatever future plans you have.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Right on. Thanks.